Welcome to the 1204. There is levels to prostitution. Prostitution comes in all shapes and forms. It's not a one size fits all. But typically, when you think of a prostitute, one would assume a lady on the streets flagging down a moving vehicle. One would also assume that the lady of the night flagging down the moving vehicle is somebody that is on drugs or alcohol. Now, that is one form of prostitution. But like I said, there is many. There is levels to prostitution. I have seen so many prostitutes over the years. When it comes to brasses, nobody can tell the 1204 anything. I am the self-confessed whore connoisseur. Now, I may use the term brass in this video. And for those of you who do not know what a brass is a prostitute. A brass is an old English word for prostitute. The thing is, I've had a lot of black women try to use the fact that because I sleep with prostitutes, they use that as an insult. They use the fact that I love to sleep with brasses as an insult. And the funny thing is this: a lot of black women, in fact, the majority of them are actually brasses without even realizing that they are brasses. That's what the crazy thing is. Also, a little side note here: a lot of black men who also have tried to insult me for the fact that I love brasses. They refer to me as a trick. And by the way, I admit to being a trick. Well, I call myself a punter. And a punter is, it's just a English word for trick, basically. Trick is a American slang word. I have never denied it. But they use that as an insult towards myself. And the ironic thing is, just like with the black woman who insults me for sleeping with brasses, whilst the black woman is a brass. And these black men who insult me for sleeping with brasses, calling me a trick, these black men are also tricks. In fact, they are worse than tricks, but that is a separate video. Because the black man doesn't realize he is a trick. The black woman doesn't realize she is a brass. Let's get into it. I remember a few years ago, Tory Lanez, rapper or singer, whatever he is, he was on a show and he made a statement that got a lot of black women's wigs in a twist. He said that just because you have sex with me, don't ask me for money after, or don't ask me for a gift. Something along those lines. He was basically saying, just because you have sex doesn't give you the right to start demanding things after. And when he said that, the response black women gave to Tory Lanez for that statement, that corroborates my point in this video. That these women are brasses without even realizing they are brasses. Because they responded in true brass fashion. Shiva 7 made a live stream about it. And the opinion amongst those black chicks on that page was, so it's okay for you to sleep with her, but it's not okay for her to ask you for anything. That's what they kept saying. Oh, so why is he getting mad that they're asking him for things? Why is he sleeping with them? So he just wants to sleep with them for nothing. So I came along in true 1204 fashion. And I said to these women, hang on a second here. There's a simple solution to this problem. Tell the man what you want before you sleep with him. To avoid this type of rubbish. And one woman said to me, but 1204, that would be prostitution. And I said to her, darling, you are a brass. Now, because black women are in denial about being brasses, they want to play games. They want to collect the money after. So what she will do is this, because she's in denial, whereas the brasses I sleep with are straight up brasses to the core, and they will tell you straight away. Majority of them, before they even give you a hug, they want to count the money. They want to use that note checker. So in UK, we have a note checker where you write on the note with this marker, and if it changes colors, it means that the notes are fake. So basically, they want to count the money. They want to check the authenticity of the money before they give up the gash. They want to check and count your cash before they give up the gash. That is a brass. That's the brasses I sleep with. But the black chicks now, just like that chick in the comment section, she's not going to tell you up front, pay me to have sex with me, because she doesn't want to be labeled as a brass. So she thinks that if she collects the money after, if she tells you some kind of nonsense story about after she's had sex with you, oh, by the way, my car's broken down and it's going to cost £400 to fix, or $400 to fix. She believes if she does that and she is successful with collecting the money that she's asked for, then she believes she's not a prostitute because she didn't tell the man that beforehand. This is semantics. This is all semantics. But the fact of the matter is this: you are a prostitute. The same black women, they will lambaster and ridicule a fellow black woman if that black woman is sleeping with a guy who is not giving her money. If that guy is not doing anything for her financially, they will now refer to that woman as a pick-me. Somebody tell me I'm lying. I watched a show the other day on the Sinners podcast. Big up the Sinners podcast. There was a black girl on there. And she was talking about how fuck is not free. Fuck is not free. But this is the thing with black women. They make those kind of statements. And then as soon as you try to back them in a corner to get them to admit to being a brass, then you see backpedaling. Then you see beating around the bush. then you see semantics. What is it that Black Chick said on that Sinners podcast? She said, listen, I'm not a prostitute, but I am not going to have sex with a man who is not doing anything for me. And then when she was, when she was probed, when she was questioned more about it, then she goes, well, it doesn't have to be financial. He could be giving me something else, what I mean? Mental stimulation. Fuck that shit. You are selling your pussy. And just because you're not selling it on the streets, flagging down cars, just because you are not on London Backpage or you are not on Viva Street or any of those websites selling it, doesn't mean you're not selling it. The thing is, slut shaming is also a real thing. So because of slut shaming, a lot of these women are very, very secretive about what they get up to. A lot of these women are sleeping with fat, Guinness pot-bellied Nigerian uncles, crocodile shoes wearing Nigerian uncles, just to pay their rent. The stuff these women are doing for money. Because Black women have this thing about them where they are schooled by their mums, by their aunties, and even their grandmas. Even Granny, with her fucking cobweb pussy, is teaching these young chicks how to use what they have to get what they want. I've spoken about this on my previous channel, where I was with my friend, and this has happened more than once. But I remember she asked her mum for money. I was on the phone to her. And she asked her mum for money. And her mum's response was, "You've got a pussy." And I remember at that time, I was so naive then, because I was so young. I was at 13. And I remember when her mum said to her, "You've got a pussy," I remember, being so naive, thinking that, okay, that she's going to pull a £20 note out of her pussy. That's what I remember thinking. But then I realized very soon after that her mum meant, you have a pussy, so go and sell it. This was a Jamaican woman. And Jamaican women are notorious for selling pussy. And you Nigerian chicks are selling pussy too. You American chicks are selling pussy. Black chicks are selling pussy worldwide. Read between the lines, people. The same Black woman who is encouraging other Black women, do not marry for love. Oh, really? The same Black woman who is encouraging other Black women, the same Black woman who has stated, I don't need to bring anything to the table. Now, you got to read between the lines with these chicks. Now, if she's not going to marry for love, then what is she going to marry for? Now, they're going to try and play games and say, mental stimulation, and respect. Listen, we know what you're talking about, woman. You're going to marry for money. And if you're going to marry for money and you're not going to bring anything to the table, so what are you there for? What are you going to give to that man? I know what you're going to give to that man. Now, you're not going to say it because you know the 1204 is trying to put you in a corner, is trying to get you to admit to being a brass. But let me tell you something, Shaniqua. You don't need to admit anything to me because I will read between the lines and I'm going to gather up all the evidence and then I'm going to come to my own conclusion. And that is, you are a brass. So you're not going to marry for love. You are not going to bring everyone to the table. So what that means is you are going to marry for money. And in return, you are going to give this man sex. How is that not a brass? How is that not a brass? If the shoe fits, wear it. And you know what the funny thing is this? The funny thing is this. Whilst you black women are brassing it up and you're in denial about your brass activities, the brasses who own being a brass is actually making serious cash. There's actually a documentary about two white English brasses on YouTube. These chicks were making £6,000 a week brassing it up. It's a lot of money, I'm telling you. Don't get it twisted, they're seeing a lot of customers a day. £6,000 a week. That is a lot of money. So there's a lot of money to be made. Now, I know chicks here who make a lot less than that, but it's still serious money. They make like, what do you call it? They make like £3,000 a week. That is a lot of money. And that's because they are honest with themselves that they are brasses and they advertise it on the internet. It's straight up what they're doing. What you girls are doing, acting like you're not brasses, but you are brasses, you're not making any money that way. Clearly not. That's why you guys are on Shiva 7's page trying to find out how to trap one of these idiots into signing his life away. The irony of it is this. Those brasses are more likely to get married than you. The brasses I sleep with, the brasses who know they're brasses, are more than likely to get married to a so-called rich man than any of you brasses in denial. You guys need to take ownership of your brassing. I've told you people what to do on my previous channel. I've told you. Some of you guys are taking provocative pictures anyway. So go into your bathroom, suck your stomach in, Shaniqua, poke your bum out, and give me your sexiest, fierce face. Stick your tongue out as well. That's it. That's a good girl. Stick your tongue out and pose. Yes. And then you put it on Viva Street or whatever. I'm not sure how they will go about advertising, especially in America. But over here is Viva Street. There's Adult Works, etc., etc. And then you put your price. Now, don't say anything silly like £700 for the hour. Listen, no one's giving any of you brasses £700 for the hour. If I show you what £150 or £200 an hour could get you, then you are going to reevaluate saying anything stupid like £700 for the hour. And if you do it that way, I'm telling you, you'll make a lot of money. I mean, there's actually a bit of a market, you know that, for black chicks. I'm telling you. I'm sure there's plenty of old Muzungu men, old Cockazoid Oyibo men who want to do stuff to black chicks. So get yourself on there and let's make some money. Because a lot of you chicks out here are broke up. You're broke. And I've spoke about, these Jamaicans. Now let me talk about you damn Nigerians. Oh, but the 12 and 4, you're Nigerian too. Listen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the fuck I am. But anyway, you damn Nigerians are also prostitutes. Did you know in Nigerian culture, for example, the Igbo culture that I am, because I'm an Igbo man. So let's say if I wanted to marry a woman, and I'm sure this is for, I can speak for, the other tribes as well. So if I want to marry a woman in Nigeria, I'll have to pay a bride price. So the parents of the girl will sit down and discuss how much money I should pay for their daughter. Now, of course, after I buy her daughter or his daughter, her and his daughter, I'm going to have sex with her and his daughter. Think about this right now. I'm going to hand over money to this family. To the parents of this girl. Hand over a large sum of cash. Not to mention, a few cows and some other animals. I'm going to hand over all of these things, and in return, they're going to give me their daughter. Then I'm going to take their daughter and I'm going to have sex with her. How is that not prostitution? How is that not worse than prostitution? How is that not brassing it up? That is worse than pimping. And this is why in Nigerian culture, when the husband is beating the wife, the parents of the girl cannot do anything because after all, the husband has paid. He has bought this woman as if this woman is a property. So this is what I'm trying to say to you people. It's deeper than just America. This is in a lot of black people. That black men are naturally tricks and that black woman is a natural brass. We're talking about Africa here. See, because I'm not talking about ghetto black American culture. I'm not talking about ghetto black yardie Jamaican culture. No, this is Africa. This is Africa where you can buy a woman from her parents. That's what it is. Let's not mince our words. Let's not play semantics here, people. Anybody can go over there and buy a woman from the parents. I've seen poor families in Nigeria who live in the bush, but because they have a gorgeous daughter or they have gorgeous daughters, their daughter is currency to them. It's basically a golden ticket out of poverty. And they will give her to the highest bidder. They will give their daughter to the highest bidder. That is a real thing out there. Somebody tell me, do you know, I might make a whole separate video about this. Peace.